What's up, everybody? Chef Glenn B, and I'm back in the kitchen, and today I'm working on braised beef short ribs, and I'm gonna pair it with a pretty old Mourvèdre. I've got these short ribs here, and they are a little larger than most times you would see short ribs, but I like to cut my short ribs in what I call fun size. And what I did here was I did two types of cuts. So I got a little more of a square cut, and then I've got a more an elongated cut. So I just wanted to do a couple of cuts to show you a couple of variations on how you could do this. So I seasoned my short ribs. I took them out of the refrigerator a couple of hours ago. I'm gonna recommend that you do the same thing. Take them out about 3 to 4 hours before you're gonna use them. Season them with salt, cover them up, and sit them on the counter. I've already got these seasoned with salt. I'm gonna go ahead and season them with some black pepper. I've got my saute pan here. Now normally if I were doing a much smaller batch of these braised short ribs, I would do everything in the Dutch oven that I'm cooking them in. But because I've got so much here, and normally, and again, if I were cooking for a much larger group, like 12 to 15 people, I wouldn't cook that many portions of a short rib in a small Dutch oven. So I'm gonna sear these in this saute pan here, and I'm gonna transfer everything to the Dutch oven. Got some canola oil. I'm gonna start searing them. So as you can see, I seared them on all sides. I'm not so much worried about the bone side, but all the meaty sides of the ribs have been seared. All right, so I got my short ribs browned. I'm gonna get rid of some of this fat from this pan. Leave a little bit of it. And I've got all of my ingredients for the short ribs, basically a mirepoix plus some stuff. So I'm gonna start with my onions. Got some carrots. Celery. All right, so the vegetables are looking really good. You got some color. They're beginning to brown. I've got these garlic cloves that I've smashed and taken the skins off of. I'm gonna add that to the pan. Let those saute up for a few minutes. I've got some tomato paste that I'm gonna add to the vegetables. So I'm gonna cook that tomato paste until it's really nice and incorporated on the vegetables, maybe a minute or so. You'll begin to smell the tomato paste. Now to this, I've got a bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon that I'm gonna add. gonna bring that to a simmer. I wanna reduce it just for a minute or so. I don't wanna reduce too far, but I wanna reduce a little bit of the volume of that wine. Intensify that flavor a little bit. So I'm gonna add my simmering wine mixture to my short ribs. All right, so I've got my beef broth here, and as you saw on camera earlier, I added a packet of gelatin to the top of the beef broth, and I did that so the gelatin can bloom. And in simple terms, blooming means that so that the gelatin can hydrate into the broth. I'm using that so that I can get sort of a natural thickening as opposed to adding flours and things like that at the end. I may need to add a little bit of a cornstarch slurry to get the thickness that I want if it's not thick enough. But if I had a really high quality beef broth or beef stock, there would be a lot of gelatin in that stock, a lot of natural gelatin, and that would naturally thicken my sauce. So to replicate that, I put a little bit of gelatin in this beef broth, and we should get some nice thickening without having to add a bunch of flour at the end. So I'm just gonna add this broth to my short ribs here. So I've got a clove of garlic, or a head of garlic, not a clove, but a head of garlic that I literally just cut in half. I'm gonna put the whole thing in there. Get rid of that paper. Got some rosemary, some thyme, and I got a couple of bay leaves that I'm gonna add. So I've got my oven preheated to 300 degrees. I'm gonna stick this in the oven and I'm gonna braise them for anywhere from 2.5 to 3 hours, probably closer to 3 hours, as big as these are. Okay, so my short ribs are braising in the oven. I'm pairing them with a 2008 Cass Mourvèdre. I dug deep into my cellar for this one. This has been laying around for 16 years. Wow. So immediately I can see the age is showing in the wine. I'm gonna use this napkin, the whiteness of this napkin to help to look at the color of this wine. But as you can, well, you can't really see it as I can, but I can see how from the edges of the wine going to the center of the wine, there's a difference in color. There's a lightness to the edge of the wine. It gets darker as it goes to the middle, but it's showing its age in that way. Still dark, but definitely got what's called bricking going on. Concentrated. I mean, it's reminiscent of reducing a sauce. You know how you put a sauce in the pan, or you put some wine in the pan, and you reduce it by half, or by however much you reduce it by. It smells concentrated in that way. It smells like it's been sort of sitting around, and the smells and the flavors have been intensifying. That's kind of what it smells like. So I'm getting like maple syrup. I'm getting some little cedar, kind of piney and cedary in that way. Definitely getting some fruit still at this advanced stage of age. Still getting some vibrant fruit, some plum. Little prune, kind of pruny. I said plum, but like an aged prune, or like a fermented prune, or a plum rather. The nose is very intense. There's also some cherry. Lots of cherry. Let's give it a taste. I'm kind of excited. Intense flavors. Oh, wow. So first of all, it's not much more than medium body. I'd expect it to be a little more, have a little more volume because of the age. Maybe it gotten a little denser, a little thicker. It hadn't. It's still medium body. Very nice acidity at this age, our stage of age, 16 years, and the acidity is still nice and vibrant. Yeah, so the flavors have intensified. I'm getting some baking spices, I'm getting some vanilla, I'm getting that cherry, and cherry, like cherry cough drop almost. I'm getting sort of I think it may be sort of like a eucalyptus type of thing going on. Yeah, it's very, very green in that way. Wow, this wine has held up so well. So a little bit about the winery. Cass Winery is located in East Paso Robles. They've got a fantastic property where they got all kind of things going on out there. They're producing Rhone varietals. They've got a tasting room. They also have a cafe with a fantastic full-on menu. You gotta go online and take a look at this menu. The menu makes me want to visit alone, just the menu. They've got Camp Cass with activities for adults, mind you. Camp Cass with activities such as electric bikes, archery, paint and sip, olive oil classes, axe throwing, trail rides, and that's just to name a few. There's a lot more. In addition to that, you can stay at the Cass property. You can either stay at Geneseo Inn or the Cass Farmhouse. I'm enjoying this wine, fantastic. It's held up 16 years. I'm thinking it's gonna pair very well. It's a really good wine. So I'm gonna serve my short ribs with some mashed potatoes. I've got some Yukon Gold potatoes here. I've already peeled them and cut them. They were kind of small, so I just kind of cut them into little pieces. I've got some cold water. Just gonna add my potatoes to the cold water. Add some salt. I'm gonna allow these to come to a boil, and I wanna boil them for about 15 to 20 minutes until they're tender enough to make mashed potatoes. So my potatoes have been boiling for about 20 minutes. They're nice and tender. So what I've done is I've drained all of the water out of them, and I've got the heat on. I'm going to just evaporate all of the water out of this pot. I don't want any water to interfere with my mashed potatoes. So I'm gonna leave the heat on. I'm gonna go ahead and throw my butter in there. Let that melt up really well. I'm gonna go ahead and add my milk to the pot. I made sure that I put a little extra milk in this cup, just in case I needed it. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn my heat off. I'm gonna go ahead and mash my potatoes. I've got some sour cream that I'm gonna add here. I'm gonna season it with some salt. Got some white pepper. Good taste. Need a little bit more salt. I'm gonna set these aside until the short ribs are done. All right, let's see what we got. short ribs look fantastic. So I'm gonna take these short ribs out of this braising liquid. I'm gonna set them aside. I wanna strain this liquid. I wanna get all of the solids out of it, and I'm gonna reduce this, this sauce, this braising liquid, and make it a sauce. So I've got my short ribs out of the sauce, or out of the braising liquid. I've strained the braising liquid and returned the braising liquid to the heat. I want to reduce this, and I'm going to let it go for about 30 or 45 minutes or so. I want it to really reduce, and I want those flavors to intensify. So my sauce has been reducing for about 40, 45 minutes or so. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of my cornstarch slurry. What I did was I've got cornstarch and water, and we're just gonna add that. And again, don't worry about specific ratios. The link to the recipe is in the description below the video, as always. All right, so I've got my sauce thickened to where I want it to be. I want to get my ribs back in the sauce so that we can bring them back up to temperature. All right, the short ribs are ready and I'm ready to taste. So the wine, the 2008 Cass Mourvèdre, held up beautifully over the last 16 years. It's just amazing how fantastic and still freshly acidic and all of those things that this wine is. This wine, we got it directly from the winery way back when, and it's been in perfect storing conditions ever since. So obviously it's had some help holding up well. Let me refreshen my glass. Let's get into these short ribs. Fantastic. mashed potatoes, the meat, the sauce, it's all delicious. The meat's tender. See if it pairs. Wow. Pairs beautifully. Oh man. I don't want to give you any type of similarities, or in any of these secondary flavors that come along. I don't even want to do that with this. This wine is, like I said, it's 16 years old, and it is just pairing beautifully with this short rib. That's all that I can give it. But I gotta double check. Wow. Yes, seamless pairing, fantastic pairing. Wow. I haven't tried the Brussels sprouts. I've got Brussels sprouts on my plate. This dish will pair with any vegetable. I mean, you can do a nice sauteed green bean, you can do some cauliflower, this Brussels sprouts. Everything tastes good together. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for watching my video today. If you're new, please hit that subscribe button. I regularly drop videos where I'm sharing my favorite recipes and I'm pairing them with wine. And if you've been here and you already subscribed, thank you. I'm deeply appreciative. I'm Chef Glenn B, and as always, eat well.